Now, Royal Mail is planning to cut deliveries for second-class post down to every other day. Joining me right now to discuss this is the Spectator's business editor, Martin van der Weyer. Good morning to you.
Hello, Julia.
Thanks for joining us. I mean, is this just the beginning of the end of the Royal Mail and the postal deliveries we get? I mean, it used to be the case you guarantee you put something in the post box on a Monday, Tuesday it would arrive. I had a first-class card from my mother on her birthday in January. It took more than a week to arrive. I actually left 5 days. I thought I've left plenty of time just in case. Didn't arrive until well after her birthday. Now, I mean, people don't trust the post anymore anyway at all. But, I mean, second-class post, I would just assume I'd leave a month for it. But deliveries every other day for second-class post, is that even a service worth anyone paying for?
Well, it's a service that's unique in the sense it's the universal service. It is the one that is guaranteed to reach every household. So you have to make a little bit of allowance for that. There's no competitor that promises to reach every household with every delivery, however often the deliveries are. So that's the fundamental problem of Royal Mail, is they're under a 19th century obligation to deliver to every household at the same stamp price. Anyway,
and that includes very remote households, in the Hebrides, for goodness sake. Yeah.
And what's happened now, I think, well, there are a whole lot of problems. Culturally, they've got it completely wrong, separating the post office from the Royal Mail, whereas in the citizen's mind, that's all one thing. They're two completely different businesses, not well coordinated. Parcels are the new letters. Parcels is a tremendously competitive market, and Amazon, among others, will get almost anything to any household anywhere tomorrow, even later today, if you're lucky. What's perhaps become important to the citizen, maybe the parcel service more than the second-class post service, which is your junk mail and the stuff that isn't particularly urgent. The essential, really, I suppose, the now very expensive first-class post, which might include really vital documents going to people who are not online still, older people, NHS appointment letters, that stuff. That is an essential social service that has to be preserved. I think the second-class post we could live with.
You reckon we could live with that? I mean, look, a first-class stamp is currently £1.25. I mean, ouch.
It's £1.35.
£1.30. I've got £1. Oh, it's going up £1.20. Okay, and the second class is now going up. In that case, it must be going up to 85p. Has gone up to. I mean, it is. I do find it extraordinary. People can write whole articles about the Royal Mail and not actually put the price of a stamp in it. But there we are. That's journalism today for you. But this is the thing. It's I mean, either way, a second-class stamp is still pretty expensive, but then you realise what's it for in terms of the actual someone collecting it from a post box in the van, it being sorted, taken to the other end of the country, delivered. It is an incredible service, and perhaps we're just getting a little bit blasé, thinking that should still be happening.
It's a third of the price of a cup of coffee now, and it's still a vital thing. But what's got lost, Royal Mail was privatized. It's part of a bigger group, the other half of which is a European parcel service and so on. And it's tried to operate like a highly commercial shareholder-owned company at war with its trade unions, who are extremely recalcitrant, resisted all change, all efficiency measures for year after year after year. And it somehow got lost in there is the idea of a delivery service to the home everywhere as part of the social fabric. How we get that back now, I don't know. But a lot of people would say, well, actually, as long as I get my online shopping is part of my daily life now, what really matters is that I get my parcels efficiently and the important letters that come from time to time. Not very many, frankly, for most people now. But the social fabric element of the postal service has somehow got chewed up and spat out.
Yeah, I mean, but again, as you say, when people are not using that service so much, so all the people who used to send letters who now write emails or have contacts in some other way, a WhatsApp message, those are all gone. And again, I remember, I'm a big card sender. I love sending cards. I love receiving cards. I have cards ready for family members for the next 3 years. Oh, that's a perfect card for them, or but that's unusual. When you look at it, you think you buy a card off, it's like £3 or £4 just for a piece of card. Okay, it's got a good design, but it's a piece of card, and then you're paying £1.25 to send. You think it's quite an expensive thing to do. A lot of people trying to save money. They've got heating bills, food to pay for. That's not a priority. But the fewer of us who do that, the more the cost of the stuff that is vital. Effectively, the unit cost of that goes up. Do you think we'll get to a point when we don't have a Royal Mail at all, and it is just expected things are online? And I've got relatives in their 80s who do pretty much everything online, and that we just get rid of that sort of service entirely?
There's there is a minority, and they're older people and poorer people who are not online. That the number of those, the proportion of those will diminish over time, but there'll still be some people who need a postal service. The key thing is, can the universal service obligation of Royal Mail be preserved, that it has to deliver, every delivery round has to reach every house? That nobody's come in and competed in that market, because it's an almost impossible.
Because you can't compete in it. You can't.
You can't compete in it.
Thank
Whereas
you
in the
so much for joining.
parcel
I have to leave it
market,
there.
there are
Business editor of the Spectator.
market,
Sorry, I'm
there are 8
talking
or
over
10.
you because you've got to stop talking because we're going to a break. Thank you so much, Martin. Very quick word from Benedict Spence.
I don't like the idea that the attitude is that when the state does something very bad, that the solution is simply to privatise it. Ultimately, I think that that's a sign of lowering standards, and I don't like the idea that we would outsource all of this. I do think you actually need to have some things, as if nothing else, as a backstop. What happens if Amazon is not likely, but what happens if it stops functioning, or one of the other deliveries, and it just collapses, or there's a war or something, and actually you need these sort of emergency systems. I don't like the idea of outsourcing absolutely everything. Just because the government has dropped the ball doesn't mean we shouldn't be asking it to pick it back up.
There are some things that cost. And again, you could say, again, I think if it's elderly people don't use it. Again, elderly people I know don't use the post. I'm wondering, last time I had anything other than a card that was useful in the post, frankly, but there we are. Benedict Spence, thank you very much indeed. Coming